Let's leave his mother out of it. That's not nice, Ice. Saint Con, right? It was a very gentle con. I don't know if that's the right word for it, but there was no like massive craziness going on like at DEF CON or some of the other cons that are out there. Everybody
it's pretty mellow.
Everybody was genuinely interested in learning new stuff and sharing what they had, and I thought that was very inspiring. The mini badges is insane. They said 500 different types, 40,000 units. I'm just like, that's ridiculous, right? But I had a great time out there.
And that's been a part of ZenCon for probably, like 7 or 8 years. I think Luke, Wi-Fi Luke on the Twitters, was the first one to come up with this badge spec for the mini badge. Basically, it's like a little 1 inch by 1 inch square. The idea was like, let's create a way that we can identify different parts of the conference in a tiny badge that people can solder together.
I'm pretty sure it's in freedom units. It's 20 by 20 millimeters.
Oh, excuse me, 20 yes. The freedom units master himself has corrected me. 20 by 20. Is it 25 by 25? Is that the proper 5.9? Yeah. So, anyways, the mini badge has been a part of ZenCon for years. Originally, it was just power, and they've added I2C. They've added a bunch of little add-ons to it. People actually have like full communication. This year, it was next level. It communicated with the badge to where you could even plug in a mini badge that's an add-on that gave your character like power-ups in the game where you went and battled.
That was insane.
So like shout out to MK Ultra, the badge makers, Mike and his wife.
Not the CIA program loved by conspiracy theorists.
Yeah.
We were talking about
Clipper, aka Clippy, was a huge creator in the badge project this year. They always bring it. So Luke, and then there was some other folks earlier that helped create the badge. One year I helped to do programming on the badge, and every year they've brought in amazing things. But I think this year just took it to a whole new level. I think the completion of the badge, the completion of the badge game, the challenges that were built into it, it was just so far polished. It was incredible. It was absolutely incredible.
It was also inspiring to see so many, like everybody had their own mini badge and like, hey, do you have one of mine? Do you have one of mine? And it was just like, I've never seen something like that, right?
Trading. And then the other thing that really shocked me is at closing ceremonies, they said 80% of people logged into the badge game to play the badge game.
Wow.
That's like insane. Out of, I think it was 1,400 badges, they had like 1,200 people log in to at least create a character in the badge game to battle.
Yeah, that's insane.
I don't know any other conference that has that level of engagement with their badge. And like
the badge
like DEF CON. Yeah, the badge was.
And the UI took you directly to your character development. I mean, like even I, who never played with badges, was like, look at that stuff. And then, what do you say with the in-game things? Jesus Christ, that's genius.
Yeah, there was a lot of great programming on there, and I think too there was also another guy, Professor Plum, another just like an amazing coder, challenge creator. I think he also had some part to do in there, but the folks that do the ZenCon stuff are just top notch.
And the thing I liked about the badge was it actually did make people interact with each other, right? So
right. Well, that was always lost with DEF CON badge, right? Like how do we get this? Not only is it a way to identify that you're into a conference, but how do we get this to inspire interaction with other people? Like whether it was, the badge challenges where you had to like talk to other people to get like scanned, to where there was the slate, and then it had the NFC where you could scan the badges with each other at DEF CON.
Yeah.
This is a primary example of that, even though it was over the badge Wi-Fi at ZenCon this year. And then the game was kind of reminiscent of kind of a Tekken game, or kind of a little bit of, I don't know, what other games would you say? Maybe Golden Axe. I feel like it had some RPG elements with all the clippy stuff.
I have to admit, I'm one of the people who did not play the game.
What the hell, man? I'll tell you what. I'll tell you what. Don't worry. Grifter was up all night long collecting all the coins. So he did like 99% of the work. I just was watching and played along a little bit with him. So, but
he had this power
absolutely
ups.
incredible.
Oh
yeah, the power ups. So the badge makers had the power ups, and there were certain power ups that you could only get by talking to them. And Clipper, aka Clippy, one of the guys that did a lot of the badge programming, he had a bandana, and his was the only one, and people would borrow it. And he like in closing ceremonies, he said that like that was one of the most used items in the entire game because he kept letting people borrow it because it gave you like a +5 power up and gave you the advantage to win the battle.
Yeah,
So
I think the mini badges aspect was the other
badge.
aspect that drove the communication between the people, right? I mean, you can have a badge that communicates with each other.
Oh, sure.
But people were trading mini badges, or were like, "Hey, what's that mini badge?" And there was that gallery in the middle of the communities that had all the badges that they found, and it was just this blinking Christmas tree like thing that was just like insane lit up, you know.
Yeah, and that was not just the badges. So Troy Jessup, the founder of St. Con and you know, kind of the mastermind behind it, does a lot of planning and stuff. One of his things is he always wants to get a copy of every mini badge that gets created, and he's tried to create like a mini badge archive so that you know you can see all the badges that have been created over the years. And so like I took some pictures of it. There was some that I've created over the years. I've had people create for me, and also things that I've been involved in that we've had mini badges for. Yeah. So like the charity event that I do every year, it's called Hack in the Box. We always create a badge. We didn't make one this year. Didn't have enough time to put it all together this year. But that's the other thing too. Like if you think about it, the people who are doing this, like they've started working on this at least 3 months ago, right? Because you've got to get PCBs that land. You need to get your bill of materials ordered. Like we had a chip shortage. We're getting out of that now. Things are starting to level out. Things are starting to get nice. But like all this shit was happening during the chip shortage too. So, you know, I mean, it's just it's one of those crazy things to think about with all of the work that's gone into the mini badges, into the badges, into this badge life community. You know, it's really inspiring, awe-inspiring, straight up. So, and it's been fun to be a part of it for sure.
Yeah, there's some great talks too. I only caught a couple of them because I was running around, but. Joe's keynote was awesome. Nicole's keynote was awesome.
Joe Grand, are you kidding me? That guy, like, I've talked to him and hung out with him a number of times in the past, but like, I've always been a huge fanboy of his since like the beginning. Like since I think DEF CON, what was it, 15 or 14 was the first electronic badge that ever existed in the entire world. There was the Joe Grand badge. It was like about this long. Blue and white, and I got my hands on one of those, I remember, and I turned to my friend Henry and I was just like, this is incredible. The fact that like I have a circuit board that actually does something, like it just blew my mind. Like that was the start of the end for me for like electrical engineering and wanting to do stuff. It was so inspiring. So inspiring.
So what do you think about St. Con Nights, man?
Oh man, I loved it. It was my first St. Con, so it was first for many. So it was first time in Utah. Never been. First time at St. Con. So I didn't have any expectations getting there, but this is build up.
I didn't even know you were coming. Like I didn't realize that you were coming. Like just like in Singapore, I didn't know you were going to be in Singapore. Next thing I know, this guy's like, "Oh yeah, I'll be here. I'm already here. I'm to the hallway."
But Iceman, what did you think about the St. Con content-wise? The talks, the communities, the attendees?
I was struck by how open people were, and badges, you know, accustomed to that. I didn't know about the mini badges, but once I understood that everybody had it and made their own, and they made it, and people are soldering. It's no big noise, there's no parties in that sense like DEF CON, which is like madness compared to this. This is just nice. So I compared with Shmoo. I was at Shmoo in January, so and those two, and Shmoo is more party. the lobby con, the hotel room parties, and the talks, and they try to, you know, it's a good thing by there as well. But not even close to how SaintCon was. So the vibes of, people sitting in the soldering area, I was like, wow, what? That's odd. Everybody's soldering. Normally it's like people go to, security conferences and they are interested in security, but they were really, really into it. I'm like, wow, that was the first one. And then the communities, I walked around in the vendor area, what do you call that, the exhibition area?
The communities
There was
area.
amazing communities inside of there. I was like, wow, this is really good stuff. The breaking rooms, the locksmiths, the of course, the RFID NFC community, which I wanted to visit. And they were so like, oh God, are you coming? It's like, what are you? Of course I'm coming here.
Yeah, you're running an NFC RFID village or community table, and
to
suddenly
do something
Iceman's
for you?
standing next to you going, hi. You're like, what the hell?
Yeah,
Well,
Pope told me a story about that, about Logan, and that he was very afraid that I was coming. I was like, and Pope said, you don't have to worry.
Well, and that's not the only one too. Like Iceman, you weren't the only one. Like, so the Lockpick Village featured lockpicks from Lonnie Bates, aka
Jimmy Longs.
Jimmy Longs, on the internet. He's been creating his own lockpicks, his own cutaways, things like that. And he's just like hanging out and like chilling around that area. He's sometimes a little shy, but his lockpicks are what everybody was lockpicking with. So
Yeah,
you know what I
awesome.
mean? So like that's the environment at SaintCon. We have like the top-notch people, the top-notch things.
The funny thing about
so
SaintCon for
it's
me
an
was
honor.
that there was very few times I had to go, what? You go to DEF CON, there's a lot of yeah, whatever, man. You don't hear them because there's so much like commotion or music or whatnot pumping in the background. I had some really good conversations, like Jimmy Longs, Lonnie, and I. We had a good couple chats. Like almost everybody at SaintCon, because I think of mini badge, but in general had like a very maker vibe to them. And I think that's very unique,
yeah,
right?
100%.
I didn't have any discussions about, well, mainly because I don't do it, but like, any reverse engineering or, any APT, threat intel kind of discussion. None of those, right? It almost didn't feel like an InfoSec conference in that way. It felt like a HackerCon. But Troy and Pope were telling me that there were a lot of people attending there that they don't make it out to Vegas or any of the other bigger conferences. All they do is SaintCon.
Yep.
I didn't see it. I caught it on YouTube, so I don't know how many raised their hand. But I guess in Joe's keynote, he asked how many consider themselves hackers, and only few.
It was like a quarter.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like a quarter of the audience. Yeah.
So.
And that's the thing too, because it's like it has traditionally been like mostly education and healthcare people in those industries, and like it's been guys like me bringing the content back from DEF CON, bringing the content back from these other ShmooCons, these other conferences, bring it back to SaintCon to kind of like expose people to these, other ideas, other things that are out there in the world in the InfoSec community. And even Troy and a number of the other founders and stuff who participate in these other, conferences and things, bring that stuff back, bring that content back. So it's not just a content
cool
driven locally. It's like we're bringing info back so everyone can get that experience. And years they've joked like, oh, this is the DEF CON that serves soda instead of alcohol. So like,
Iceman, you were saying?
Also amazing. Two things actually. Now it's like last week there was sodas. It was free sodas.
Yeah.
It's like,
sodas
wow.
and lunch. So that's always
lunch,
been the thing. Lunches and.
But one thing that struck me is that from other conferences, it's a sticker game. Where they have a sticker exchange and there's stickers everywhere, and people have to bring their own stickers. I guess on SaintCon they do their own mini badge, but I didn't have stickers, so I came with shite tons of stickers that I collected over years. It's like, I'm going to spread this now because they don't make any use at my place. So I went to the NFC RFID community and put, is it okay if I put stickers in here? Because I don't know if you don't do this. It's like, oh yeah, sure. It's like, within 10 minutes, cook! That stick's gone. It's like, okay. And then I saw a sticker change at your Hacking the Box event. That was also that same vibe. So, okay, here's Black Hat stuff. This must be Mike's things, Otherwise, I didn't see it. It was like, wow, it's like that's not a thing.
Yeah, the sodas blew me away too because I was just talking to I think either Pope or somebody and said so basically throughout the con they had fridges that were stocked with sodas, and you could just take one whenever you're thirsty. It had water in it too, and I was like, wait, I couldn't do that in Tokyo. I would have people like line up and loading up their backpacks full of them, and I'm like. But I was just like, they don't do this. The Pope was like, nah, this is Utah, man, or Griffith or something. So I'm like, oh, okay, well. But
could have that in Vegas. We paid $25 for a water.
Right, $25.
yeah,
It's like fuck you. That's mad.
It's funny. The history of that too is so the conference used to be held up at Weber State at a university up in Ogden, Utah, and it used to be like actual soda fountains. So you'd go up to the soda fountain and refill your drink. And this is back when I drank soda, and I drank a shitload of soda at SaintCon. That was like the best thing ever. Is I would like just pound Mountain Dew and Dr. Pepper nonstop. And now I don't drink soda, and so I actually this year I had half of a root beer, so as a celebration for the laying off of the soda train. But it's there's a cool little perks and things that they do that it just. Bring that nicety to the conference. So,
yeah, I think the attendees make SaintCon very special in that way.
Yeah,
I don't know if mature.
Did you go to the third floor?
Yeah, I did.
Did you find the chill out area?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I love
That's
that.
new this year. Usually the chill out area has been down in the expo center with the talks. So the idea was to move it up so we can get some more migration of people. Throughout the whole conference. So I thought that was a great idea. I thought that was fun.
Yeah, that was good. I liked it. Yeah. The sofas, you went up and some good music. I saw Kampf. I didn't know him before, but now all of a sudden I know. And it's like playing and it's like, it's like, cool. So I was trying sitting there on the sofa and trying to mentally prepare me for my talking slides and all that shit that you go through. And people come up and talk to me. It's like, oh, I see you have a moment, but do you mind if I ask you a question? I'm like, sure, go ahead, man. It's why I'm here. It's very, very approachable, but I liked it. Many of the things from the community. I remember Troy, you standing on stage and talking about things, and he always kept on saying, we're standing on the shoulders of giants. And that harmonizes very, very well, resonates very, very well with me, because we said that for years in RFID hacking community. And the Proxmox community is saying that we do that in a sense, like homage to the people who has actually done things before us, but we are contributing to. And I was like, oh God, I love this conference. I never felt so much that hacker conference like I felt to this one. So I'm very, very happy that I got to visit and
Iceman knocked it out of the park with this talk. It was just like crash course of RFID and NFC. It was just like, I was just like, wow.
A crash course in how to give a presentation.
Yeah. I mean, it's on the it's on the SaintCon YouTube. Definitely go see it.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
I think I retweeted it today. So.
Yeah. Especially, I like the way I specifically like the way you explained induction. I was like, oh, that's actually a pretty good way of, because like, a lot of people just kind of stumble. You got this thing, like you just went like this and then that and then this and then that. I'm like, oh, that's really good. So.
Took me 4 years to master what induction was.
I hated following Iceman. I mean, I hear bombs of boom, boom, and I'm like, oh, I gotta follow that. I'm sitting in the audience going to Pope is like, I gotta follow that. Pope is like, yep. I'm like, SaintCon is a gem in the con space. No, not only the content, but the attendees. I mean, the venue itself. I was awestruck by how beautiful the surroundings of the venue was. I was like, man, I wish I brought my trail running gear, because I would be totally up in the mountains running the shit, right? So.
Yeah.
First time I got there, I thought it was LCD screens or something. Then I realized it's actually mountains.
And I've been biased for years, so it tickles my heart to hear you guys say that, because like I've been biased. I've tried to do whatever I can to promote it and bring people out and get people engaged and just try to bring something back to my local community, because like what's the craziest thing of the whole damn situation of Wi-Fi cactus and everything is I went and bitched to this community and said I got a talk rejected from DEF CON years and years ago in 2010, and whined to all my friends and like, hey, guess what? Like, I got rejected from DEF CON, and it like broke my heart because I put so much work into this talk. And they're like, come give it a SyncCon. We want to come give it. We want you to build it here and give this talk here. And I gave it there, and that gave me the confidence to get back on the horse, to speak at conferences, to build the things. So it literally, like, my starting place has been SyncCon. So it absolutely has like just the most deep soft spot in my heart for like the most supportive, willing to give me a shot when nobody else would. And like over the years, like I've literally spoken.
I think you make a good point. If you're a first time speaker and you want a conference that makes you feel safe to present, I think SaintCon will be one of them. Unlike some other,
or go to your local, like whatever your local conference is. Like talk to your local community, tell them your ideas. I didn't do that. I was shooting for the stars on my first shot, and I struck out, and it was super humbling, super humbling.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't be here today without it. So I wouldn't be here today without SaintCon. I wouldn't be here, have the career I have. I wouldn't have the career path. Like I wouldn't have done my DEF CON talk. Like none of these things would have happened had I not done my talks at SaintCon.
Even the vendors displaying, they weren't like overly aggressive of, hey, can I scan your badge? Would you like some merch? And, it was like, everybody was just really nice. It was a nice atmosphere. I really enjoyed it. Hey, Iceman, recap your whole experience. It was your first time to Utah, first time to SaintCon, first time to a Halloween party in the US.
We didn't talk about that yet.
I know, right?
We didn't talk because of Friday when everything closed down. I asked you, so I'm leaving on Saturday, and I asked you, El, and you said, "What are you gonna do?" It's like, I don't know. I've been invited to a Halloween party with Spicy, so I'm leaving. And I'm like, oh, that's nice. What I'm gonna do is like, okay, I might go for hot springs, and then like a moment later, it's like Mikey goes like, you come up, it's like, yeah, do you want to join? We're gonna have a Halloween party at my girlfriend's place. I'm like, okay, cool. I was like, fuck that. I'm just like, if you're not coming back to Provo because Salt Lake City is a little bit closer to the airport, right?
Yeah.
So I'm so happy. I have my bucket list. I've been doing Utah for the first time. I've been coming to a genuine American home party, and I've been to a genuine American Halloween party with the decorations, and I made a movie of it for myself. And
a bonus, we shared some high quality gin and tonics together. So,
yeah, you're an awesome host, man, and we're still gonna have some more gin tonic. I know some other few hackers in the communities here which loves a gentleman's gin tonic, and I see that you're a proper gentleman.
It was kind of funny because Iceman had so many first times. The first time to a Walgreens too, and I'm walking around picking up stuff for my family. And Iceman goes, "What is that? What is this? What is it?" I'm like, "It's a Walgreens, man. It's a pharmacy."
We almost went to IKEA. We were this close to going to IKEA.
Iceman, before you joined, me and Mike were talking. Everybody at the party enjoyed the visit of the foreigners, apparently. So.
I told everyone that I brought you guys in directly for the party. So
bring in the animals.
It was funny.
To wrap it up, I would say love. It's a very beautiful experience.